Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Onward VR Master League. I am your caster, Noman with a 4, and I am joined on the desk by Sleepy with 2-3. Sleepy, how you doing today?
Hey-o, I'm doing wonderfully. It's a beautiful sunny day here in Southern California. Not that I can be out to enjoy it, but this matchup is sure to bring the heat here in the late evening hours.
Yeah, exactly. And lighting, good mention on lighting. We're not on video today. The lighting situation has been a little insane, at least in Noman's household. So that is why you're not seeing the video. We're going to figure that out hopefully by next week. So don't worry, you're going to be seeing a lot more of your favorite casters' faces here soon. But you're not here for my face or Sleepy's face. You're here for G-Men versus Globochem, which is the week 1 Season 10 matchup that we're going to be bringing you today. And let's just dive right in. We don't have a lobby up just yet, or it is coming up right now, I think.
Yes.
So we have to scurry on through the bans. So, Sleepy, why don't you let the folks know what the bans are?
Absolutely, Noman. So from our home team, the G-Men, we have a ban of Quarantine. Not really surprising there. Statistically, Globochem are better on that map, especially against one another. But G-Men aren't bad on that map, so they shouldn't be too afraid of it, in all honesty. Then from the side of Globochem, we have a ban of Suburbia, which is a smart map ban, simply because in their previous meetups, it is the one map that's one of 2 maps that G-Men is statistically better than Globochem on. So very smart bans on both sides. And then, of course, starting out today, we're going to be kicking it off with my second favorite map behind Quarantine, which was unfortunately banned for the day, which is going to be Bazaar. So it should be a good warm-up, good gauge for how the rest of this series should go along.
Yeah, absolutely. This is, I think it's the right map choice, too, for these two teams, right? Most often played, definitely the one that has the most technical strategies and requires the most coordination. And these two teams, you know, they're not lacking in either of those things. So I think this is a strong map for both. I don't think it even matters who is home and away. I feel like they would have picked potentially the same starting map. But I am excited to see what we see out of this matchup, because these teams have been meeting in the finals the last couple of seasons. I mean, obviously throughout the season as well, but in the finals in particular. And G-Men have really been, putting the damage on the Globochem. Globochem has had to work very hard to secure their finals victories in the last few seasons. And I don't know, man. I think G-Men are just really, like, of all the teams that I see playing in the league today, they are the ones that really, to me, feel like they're gunning for that top spot. Like, they really put in the work. Do you feel the same?
Oh, absolutely. I think they've been doing that for some time, actually. And I've long said that they're one of my favorite teams to watch because of the intelligentsia style of their play. Like, they're very original in how they attack things. It's very agreeable, to watch. It's very tactical. It's like watching high-level play, even when it might be something silly. Like, it all just looks and synchronizes so well. Sorry, I got a little confusing there. I was hearing some of the players in the tent in my ear, and it was throwing me off a bit. But yeah, G-Men, a great team, and they've really been hitting their stride in the last few seasons. We were talking about a little bit before the show. These two teams date back all the way to Season 1. And they have played, I think I said it was 16 games, 15 games in that time span. And only in the last 2 seasons, Season 8 and Season 9, were G-Men able to score a victory. And in those games, those score lines were very close. At the end of Season 8, G-Men were able to secure a win over Globochem with a scoreline of 8-6. And then early in Season 9, quite possibly even the first game of Season 9, G-Men were able to squeak out a win, but with a tie overall of 9-9. So it's been very back and forth, especially lately. G-Men have been changing up their style recently. SMC recently scrimmed with them, and they were running a lot differently than they were in seasons past. So it would be interesting to see how both of these teams handle each other going into week 1 of Season 10.
Yeah, hopefully we won't have to wait too long, because the 10 members of the 5 members of each team, 10 total, have made it into the lobby. There's not 20 people in this lobby.
20-man game!
Someday that's going to be the case, but not today, as G-Men roster Zach Fontaine, the man, 404, Nintendo, and Brastmouth. And on the Globochem side is Mike Crook, Toast, who's making a return to the league after a bit of a hiatus.
Yep.
Izzy, Auto, and Thunder Pilot. That is going to be the 5v5. At the very least, for Bazaar, we'll see if there are subs throughout. Globochem definitely, and G-Men to an extent, like to rotate some of their players in for certain maps, and we'll see if that's the case here soon. But everybody here is ready, so I'm going to ask you, Sleepy, what's your predict? We talked about statistics. We talked about what's possible. What do you think is likely going to happen here?
I don't want to call this a prediction as much as I'm calling it kind of like a hope for. I honestly hope the G-Men can pull off a win here. I think they have what it takes. I liked what I saw in the scrim against my own team, or my new recent joined team in SMC. It was quite impressive to see them having changed up the way they play quite significantly. So, again, I'm interested to see how Globochem responds to it, especially having one of their old point men in Toast back on roster, back on the starting 5. He was in a lobby with us the other night, and he was wrecking me once again, and I, definitely had me a bit ragey. So excited, but I think I'm gonna go with G-Men.
G-Men will be the choice for Bazaar. I gotta give it to Globochem just because I think I've seen and played too many Bazaars against them. They've really got a fantastic coverage pattern, is what I'm gonna call it. But they basically have, what is effectively a zone defense. And it works so well because they know where the overlaps are, they know where the contact points are, and because their communication is so strong, and the map itself is not large, right? So you can make quick movements, quick adjustments, quick rotations to adjust to your enemy's plays, and they just do it so well. Of course, we've seen teams like Danglers put up a great fight, in previous seasons against Globochem, as well as SMC, as well as beginners, obviously. They're definitely not infallible, but it is one of their, I feel like, more consistent maps.
And the data backs you up on that, actually, Noman. I mean, even the common map history between the two going back to Season 5, Globochem's on a 66% win ratio here on Bazaar Day. But even if we take that to all-time map history for the two teams, with a similar number of total plays, G-Men having 35 plays total of Bazaar, and Globochem having 38, G-Men, unfortunately, only able to convert about 63% of the time, whereas Globochem is 84% effective on this map. So, yeah, I think you're right to lean on Globochem here in Bazaar, but either way, it's time to find out, Noman, as we kick it in to round number 1 of probably the most hype match of the week, other than maybe the developer match that just wrapped up over, well, not over anywhere. It was right here on this channel, but here we go. G-Men are now on the attack, Globochem on the defense. Let's find out who's got what it takes to start out at the top.
Absolutely. We're going to follow the Globochem defense as they get set up here, and just take a look at the overhead map as we let the players get into position here. So G-Men going for that 3-1-1 split push on the west side. Meanwhile, Globo setting up 3 and 2, west and east respectively. They've got 2 stacked on objective, which it's basically par for the course when it comes to this this objective. The main factor here is going to be Toast in this far southwest corner.
Oh, he just got spotted out. It looks like the man walking up with the shield, and I think Toast gained some intel there too. It sounds like, or it looks like he rotated back and is probably going to relay the fact that he did see a shield kind of standing openly out in the middle there by that mini market.
The man's got his smokes down. Looking like they may go for a cross right now. Not a bad idea. Toast does have his angle back, or at least is on the corner and waiting, and now the rest of the smokes for the West Cross are coming in.
Fairly good smokes. A little bit of weakness in the center, but he's getting covered by a little bit of wind gusts from the smoke plumes. Big, good crossing smoke here. The team going to back that up so they have enough to get across. A little bit of Italian pride flag there. Making me hungry for some meatballs.
Toast is looking for the man. He probably sees him, but the shot just isn't there. The man has got that coverage with the shield as he needs it. Izzy with the first shots will ring out to nab Zach Fontaine on the cross. The final member of the 3 there, not able to make it across the street. Now it's going to be Toast's job to deal with them. The nade falls a little short as the man and Nintendo push this southwest corridor.
Yeah, Toast doing everything that he can not to expose himself beyond the corner of this building. He sees the man, but he knows he's not really got much of an opportunity here. The man's just too well protected by that shield and is probably one of the most experienced shield players in the league at this point, having used it now, consecutively for a couple of seasons now.
4-4 and Brass to Mouth now looking for a pick of their own, but they're not going to find anything out there in the east. Most of Globochem has now sort of recentered on the objective. You see Auto, Thunderpilot, and Izzy all here tucked in near the OBJ, just Toast here in the west.
Oh, Toast might be able to come around behind Nintendo. Nintendo makes it past the smoke, but is unaware of Toast being around behind him. Now Toast's going to come around the backside. He'll find the man on the rotation, and now Nintendo's looking for it. He'll see the backside of Toast. He'll come around and find the refrag. Now Thunderpilot's rotating into the south. He's going to be looking for the rotation to the southwest, but it's going to take him a while before he gets contact with anyone here on the G-Men side.
Gonna tune back into where these smokes are, but take a look at that replay. Nice. This is exactly the kind of thing I'm talking about. One person goes down and there's a refrag happening almost immediately afterwards, and this is something we've talked about last couple of casts. Just teams that are getting really, solid on this this coverage of their own teammates. And there it is, Mike Crook shooting over the shoulders of Auto will find Nintendo as he tries to get his way through that southwest courtyard, but has no luck, leaving just Brass to Mouth here from the G-Men, who's walking a green smoke. This is going to be a very dangerous situation as Izzy is prepped in the window and ready to go as that smoke runs out, and then when it's primed, Globochem will take their first point here on map 1.
An impressive defense there, and a valiant effort actually from G-Men. They made it quite close to the objective effectively. They were able to take down Toast, which opened up the southwest, though it eventually did become, unusable to them. I say they made pretty good headway for considering how well Globochem had locked down this objective. Now, with that being said, Globochem only lost one person, in that being Toast. So, an excellent job of them, as you mentioned a couple of times throughout the round. They just kind of know what they're doing, especially now with these more common maps. It's easy for a team like Globochem, who's now got thousands of hours in the game, to understand and know what the best, most defendable, watch routes are going to be, and they're locking those down and getting kills. So, until someone figures out how to get past it, it's going to continue to happen.
Indeed it is, and we'll see how G-Men fare on their defensive here. Will they be able to hold it, or will Globochem extend their lead by a point? Let's find out now as we go live into round 2.
Oh no, G-Men gave away their spawn.
The common joke, of course. Volk always spawns in the same position for every objective, whereas Marsoc does have a variety, in most cases, to spawn at. So, of course, the offense already knows where they are. They're where the objective is, where they should be.
That's where they will remain.
The call-outs come out. The man spots the rotation into Kayat by the sole Globochem member there heading towards the east. That's going to give G-Men just enough information. 404 able to shut down that eastern push as Mike Crook goes down nice and early, 30 seconds, and it's already 4 for Globochem.
Thunder putting out some smoke on the corner of the west street there, drawing the suppressive fire from the man, but not actually using it to cross. Just kind of lightly tossed him out there. Now the entire Globochem offense is basically here in the west mini market trying to find a push. And I don't know if they're going to be able to get it. I mean, they're using a lot of smokes now. There's already been 2 used. There's at least 2 more currently in use. The further they go towards trying to cross, the more and more utility comes out, but the little headway they're actually making.
They are now halfway across the street as the man continues to pepper this cross. The smoke still providing pretty decent coverage. So far, they've just been lucky that no one from the defense has gotten across this mid street to the north, right? We've seen teams take up the scaffolding, take up the milk truck position there to try to watch from a more exposed but obviously a better vantage point type of position, and Brastamouth on a fantastic pick there will find Toast rotating out of that spot.
Here comes another smoke on the west alley from Globochem as they try and defer the defender. But he's going to be coming around anyways. He's not going to be looking for the frag in the same position. He's looking out the window. Long pick route, but is he going to see it? He'll squeak by, just by Izzy. Now the laser's searching everywhere. Will Brass find two? No, the tables will be turned on them. Izzy finds Brastamouth and shuts down the Southwestern defense.
Thank you for reminding me for enabling lasers. I've been hearing about it all week long. My apologies. The lasers are there. We should just ask the powers that be to make them default.
I usually do try and sneak it in for
That's
you.
good. That's really subtle. I appreciate that. Yeah, we're gonna have to make this a default because I believe everybody loves lasers. I firmly believe that. Thunder Pilot and Auto continuing their push here. Is he heading south to try to clear it? He is gonna have to deal with 404 in the back there, tucked into the Volk spawn. Just the 3 members of Globochem remaining versus the G-Men's 4.
Just 3 members.
It's just 3 members left. Auto's got a challenging approach, but if he can drop the man, he's going to have a much easier time making that approach to the objective and getting the defense a little bit more antsy. Is the man really the only one here to stop the cap if it were to come out? Everyone else pretty far off the objective.
Thunder Pilot now trying to angle and find something as he's now pushed up to meet his brother. The Globochem, again, staying coordinated. You see that straight line basically down the southern part of the map as Thunder, Izzy, and Auto work their way towards the defense. Even after they've lost 2 members of their squad, they managed to hold things together and kind of keep tight formation, good coordination, and it pays off, as we'll see. Well, we'll see, but they do have a tough battle ahead as G-Men have kind of locked down this objective themselves.
The approach is going to be challenging. They need to... one more has to go down for this to be an easy approach. Just one more member of G-Men has to... It really doesn't actually matter which one it is. I think between Zach Fontaine and 404... Well, I feel like 404 opens up that mid-south push that even Zach Fontaine would have a hard time stopping, but he has a very easy time stopping Thunder Pilot.
He stopped that one.
Now Auto's gun trained in that direction as well. He's looking for the potential 404 in the meantime. We'll shut down that south push, and it's like things aren't going the way of Globochem here. 404 being picked up by Auto makes things a little bit easier, but there it is. Zach Fontaine finds the shot on a nice little angle through the window there to tie things up 1-1 in map 1.
An excellent return defensive round from G-Men there. Globochem doing what they could to try and make up for their early round losses in Thunder, or not Thunder, but Toast and who else was that went down? Mike Crook, right?
Correct.
Yeah, but either way, still maintaining good composure, maintaining that coordination, trying not to overexpose as they push towards the objective building. But however, Zach Fontaine in a really excellent position there in that second story. 404, of course, coming in very clutch in the south, taking care of Izzy at the end. So again, well played, well done there from Globochem and what they tried to achieve with their disadvantage, and also well done to G-Men for how they just defended the crap out of the objective that time.
Yeah, those are some really great positions and really good communication between those two. Between all 5 members of the G-Men squad. They really had an understanding of Globochem's approach. The man's call out early gave them all the information they needed to sort of box in the offensive approach, and they did just that, and just sort of methodically picked Globochem off as they made their push in. Couldn't have gone any better if they'd have wanted it to, because it went pretty well already. Globochem now on the defense here as round 3 gets underway.
Yes, and we have the East Courtyard objective. G-Men getting the not quick spawn. It's not a slow spawn necessarily, because you can get fairly quickly, you know, into some aggressive positions from the southwestern spawn, but it is not the quicker rush spawn, if you will, so they won't have the top advantages, but they are going to try their best. Brastamouth already on a push here. He's trying to peek through a window, but he's almost not tall enough to see into it.
Like Fontaine and Nintendo combined pre-fire is going to, in their minds, stop any cross from happening, but really, they're burning mags. There is no one going south at all from the Globochem side. Take a look at the overhead map. You'll see that they've actually stacked much, much further north. So those were just distractionary smokes, forcing out some ammo usage. I mean, that's just, what do they burn, like 2.5 mags there between the two of them?
Yeah, I mean, depending on what kind of mags they're carrying, yeah.
Yeah, that's that's not inconsequential. When you run out of ammo here, you definitely are in trouble. You have to either scavenge some ammunition or a new gun off of another player, or you have to use your secondary, use your pistol.
You know, honestly, that's why I've been running as a support class with a rifle instead of the LMG lately. If I want to run, you know, something a little bit more controllable, a little bit more accurate at range, I'll actually take the like M16 for example in the support class from RSOC, because you have like 7 magazines, so you can be that guy to just, you know, lose a couple mags because you still got at least 5 more in your pouch you can draw from and continue the fight. So especially if you get good at, you know, single target, single shot shooting, you can really conserve ammo and be good for the entire 6 minutes and be constantly putting pressure on positions for your team. So, you know, there's a lot of different ways you can counteract that ammo usage besides just using drum mags. And Zach going to counteract the defense by finding Toast in the center Kaya building. That'll help weaken the Globochem defense, but it's still quite strong. I mean, 4-man defense in the setup that you can see on the overhead map for Globochem. I mean, they've still got a pretty solid.
Yeah, that defensive position is actually what I like to call an opportunistic position, right? You're just trying to get somewhere where the offense may not expect you right away, try and surprise them, grab a pick or two before they anticipate having to run into a defender. But you're playing against the likes of G-Men. They're ready for anything, and that does not surprise Zach Fontaine as he manages to find that pick. Give G-Men the advantage here early on in the round. 3 minutes have burned, though. We're halfway through, not early, midway through the round. And there's still only one down. Not a lot of shots traded. I mean, you could see, just taking a look at Globochem, like through the, you can see they're just kind of standing. They're just kind of waiting. They're not in any rush. They're not getting peaky. It's rare to see a player go down for a team and not have the team like run around like chickens with their head cut off trying to, you know, cover and make changes.
Yeah, the man has been spotted by Thunder Pilot in the east. I just called it out, unfortunately. I was, oh no, but it's not going to matter. All they're going to do is be able to give intel as 404 downs Thunder Pilot in the northeast and renders him as nothing more than a radio beacon. But I will say this, this is what I like about G-Men and about Globochem. They do utilize more time in the map than some of the other North American teams, but they still, for the most part, are attacking in that 3 minute to 2.5 minute range, for the most part, as long as they're not held up by something significantly on the play. So we're not ever waiting for the last second, and they're not ever waiting for the last second to attack. Is he going to find shots on the north into 404? Now more smokes are going to be ringing in from the Kayop building. It's Otto and Mike Crook. I keep wanting to call him Milkman. I don't know why.
Not his name, Sleepy. That is not his name. The smokes are coming in. Izzy's like push there in the replay that we just saw. It's a little premature. Had these smokes been coming in a little bit earlier and obviously landed a little bit better, this green one is just upright entirely. Not providing much use. There we go. That one should provide the coverage they want. Now Brass to Mouth on the inside here. He's going to be sandwiched between Mike Kirk and Otto. Needs to have his head on the loosest of swivels. Otto goes down.
That's not good. Here comes Mike Crook on the rotation, however, or no, maybe he's going to hold back. He's going to stay back, and now Brass to Mouth is, well, he's staying safe inside. He's waiting for the rotation. He's playing it smooth. Here comes Mike around the corner, pre-firing. Brass to Mouth is waiting. Here he comes around the front side now. Does he see Izzy? I don't think so. They're going to run right into one another. Brass finds Izzy on the objective. Now he's going for the cap. Mike Crook coming in. Is he going to be able to stop it? He does stop the cap. Now it's all up to Mike Crook as he sits alone on the objective with 2 G-men left. Less than a minute to go into the round.
Yeah, what an attempt there. Let's take a look at that again. It just pushes through the smoke, manages to find Izzy, goes for that tablet though, and that's the slightly greedy portion of that replay, and that's what costs him his life ultimately. So rotation from Mike Crook comes in just on time. 30 seconds left though, 1v2, and Mike Crook now rocking that shield.
That's right, and he got the intel from the double tap from the G-Man guys, taking down Thunder of where they're coming from. Now the smoke's raining in the last few seconds. We're down under 15 as the round closes out. Here comes Mike Crook around the corner. Nintendo not looking the right way. Here comes Zach Fontaine to back up his teammate. Will they have enough time? Mike Crook going for the kill. Is he going for Zach? He does get Zach. Will Nintendo be able to take down Mike Crook in time? 3 seconds left. No, is Nintendo going to go for the captaincy? No, he comes around and finds Mike Crook in the last possible second. And then, oh no, Globochem managed to...
Yeah, exactly. G-Man run out of time on that play. Not quite fast enough on the draw, and that's going to give Globochem that point. But what a round, down to the last few seconds. Wow.
Way to confuse a caster. Jeez, thanks, Nintendo. Wow, yeah, a great play action all the way up until the buzzer. And it just wasn't enough. Nintendo not finding that kill in time. God, that's gotta suck. You know, that's gotta hurt, you know what I mean? Like, that was an attack round that you needed that to gain kind of that defensive advantage as the home team.
I mean, Mike Crook made that play really work for him. He picked up that shield, and he was able, I mean, to challenge two people who effectively have you surrounded and win the challenge is so impressive in and of itself. He managed to stay alive just long enough. Nintendo rotates out, tries to not get caught by the shield, leaves Zach Fontaine to try to deal with the shield. Mike Crook pops the corner, gets him on the left because he had seen him on the peak, and then he was free and clear to fight Nintendo on his own terms. And
what happened with Zach is my question, because it just seemed like Zach was just like standing still.
I feel
was he
like
reloading, maybe?
Maybe, but I feel like the shield may have clipped his gun and prevented it from firing. That would have been my assumption, because they were relatively close to one another.
They were, yeah.
So that is the assumption there. But yeah, really great heads-up play from Mike Crook there to grab the shield and really utilize it to get that Globochem point. Now G-Men heading out onto the field for their defensive play on that same objective. Let's take a look and see if they can be as successful as Globochem on that last round.
Well, we'll see. Globochem does get the quick spawn in this one, so we'll see if they use it to their advantage. I'm pretty sure they'll use it to try and gain as much ground as they can, but I don't know if my heart can handle much more action than this, and we're only into map 1.
Yeah, the pre-fire coming in already. Let's take a look at the rotations here and the positions of these enemies. They're going to be running into each other very quickly as the man pushes into Kayat, runs into Mike Crook's shield. Now on the rotation, Toast looking for him right over the top. He goes for the stairs, but Toast ready for that position. Nabs that pick, and just like that, G-Men down to 4.
Yeah, just under 30 seconds there. Not what the G-Men are going to want to have done. You know, they're going to want to, they need to lock down this defensive round. They need to take as many of these as they possibly can when given the opportunity, and then try and convert that next opportunity on Marsoc to really gain that advantage here on the map. And losing one early on like that isn't going to be the way to do it.
Underpilot just absolutely sending that magazine down towards the smoke. It was a mirrored play. They did the exact same thing. So the man died in Kayat, just like Toast in the last round. Died at the top of Kayat to Zach Fontaine. Thunderpilot sending pre-fire rounds down towards the east side tank, just like they were having G-Men do in that last one. So we're seeing almost like a creepy mirror play from both teams, doing almost identical plays in that scenario. However, the difference being that Globochem now stacked up here in the north, almost entirely in the north, just the one lone member that is Auto down in the southeast. Let's take a look at Auto's approach here. Nintendo is going to be the first one to deal with. We're still, I mean, most of that is just pre-fire. If you take a look at the overhead map, they do not really have sight lines on each other. Maybe one would be able to spot 404 on a long. No, even then, he's tucked in on a corner there. So I'm just going to wait here and see how this Auto Nintendo scenario plays out, because I have a feel that they're going to be peeking each other pretty soon. But then again, the smoke's coming in towards the objective.
Yeah, 3.5 minutes. This seems about right for a Globochem offense. I don't think Otto's going to find as much success as he wants with this eastern push. There's a couple of lasers checking out this east street. It's going to be really hard for him to approach that door, but it's almost worth Nintendo actually taking his eyes off this approach and looking more towards the objective, because Globochem is quickly pushing their way in through those northern alleys. I just don't want to take my eyes off here. I know something's going to happen.
I'm paying attention to the objective right now. Mike Kirk and Izzy making their charge through brass to mouth. Over the top, Auto is going to find Nintendo in that blue room. That's going to open things up a little bit, force some rotations out. Thunderpilot now on the inside. Brass to mouth has to rotate through and check this.
Coming in from a Miracle Dead, but it pops too early and Auto stays safe.
Brass on a nice little drop down grabs Thunderpilot, but the refrag comes in and the res comes out. Just like that.
Not looking good for G-Men. The Globochem team is on the objective, but it won't matter. Globochem will clean up the kills, and they'll take another point and take a lead of 3-1 here on Bazaar.
Yeah, they found that momentum, and that pick from Auto on Nintendo really started opening things up. You saw how everybody just kicked into high gear there. Brass to mouth going for that Batman drop. Manages to find a down onto Izzy, not finishing him off. Thunderpilot with the refrag, able to then revive Izzy, and then it was just an en masse push by the Globochem squad into the objective, clearing out the panicking G-Men defense. And yes, 2-point lead here for Globochem in map 1. G-Men are going to have to do something pretty sweet here, in that they are probably looking for a cap to try to tie this up. And I am very curious to see what that attempt is going to look like. It's going to be a pretty challenging objective, based on how we've seen the Globochem defense playing so far.
Yeah, it's an uphill battle for sure, but it's map 1. It will have been G-Men's pick. However, there's still a lot of dog left in this fight, so...
You are correct, my friend. There is quite a bit of game left. If you're just tuning in, we're only on round number 5 of map 1, so there's plenty of game to go around. Globochem on the defense here, looking to secure map 1 with this defensive hold. Meanwhile, G-Men at least, I mean, they just need to win no matter what form it comes in, cap or otherwise.
That's true, yeah. I mean, I would be happy with the point. Don't risk it too much if it's going to be, if it's going to make or break the round here. If you can get the 1 point and stay alive, if anything, you can close that score gap. If the map win is just super unlikely, just close that score gap. Help things from being, too crazy if you do take the series loss. Not saying that that's what's going to happen, but, you try and do the best you can to mitigate your loss if that happens to your best abilities.
Yeah, taking a look at the overhead map just to see what kind of setup we're getting from Globochem on the defense, as well as the approach that G-Men are looking for. Pretty level half-moon approach, 2-1-2, spread across west, center, and east. They are pushing through now. Nice and methodical, clearing every corner. Nintendo here being very cautious. Along with 404, they're not going to run into any Globochem until this northwest courtyard sees some action. Izzy and Toast just waiting.
Yeah, the man in Brass Mouth basically just on a scouting mission here in the west as well. The man hasn't really seen anyone. I believe he's heard some calls coming in, but nothing for anyone to engage, and they've gotten themselves up rather close in a nice position here. No one, I think, has even seen them or heard them approaching, so they're in a good position as long as their guys up north can get somewhere decent. The strike can come in, they can coordinate it well, and it could be very effective. We'll have to see how that unravels, but for now, the setup's looking good.
Smoke's now coming in. into this mini bizarre market stall area here as Brastamount the Man and Zach Fontaine all prime themselves for the cross towards the objective.
Interested to see how they're planning on pushing that, considering there's no real smoke coverage on the road to speak of yet. I think maybe they're trying to bait out that defender who's usually watching this cross, but that defender is not there. No one is home. They're actually going to hold back, it seems like, which could be the smarter decision here, and let the defenders across, because you can still rotate in there and come back to watch that objective without being seen. So, you know, it could work out for Globochem, but right now, G-Men getting fairly unchallenged as they approach here from the southwest.
Yeah, well, again, we're seeing a lot of patience from the Globochem squad here. I mean, just take a look. If I stop moving the camera, no one on the Globochem squad is moving. Everyone is standing perfectly still and watching an angle, and that doesn't give the offense a whole lot to work with, right? I mean, if you're not hearing audio, you're not hearing callouts, you're not hearing footsteps, how are you supposed to know? So now G-Men have to take their time, have to be slow, have to second guess their play because of this really excellent patience from the Globochem side. And here's 404 looking for Izzy. Doesn't quite peek the corner enough, and now Izzy's gonna have the drop. The clicks on the radio going out for 404. Communicating something to his team.
Probably an enemy located near him. Could see his movement is slow to a stall, but it doesn't matter. Is he going to pop around and get the shots off? Now tuck into a nice little cheeky defender position in behind that vending machine.
Yeah, really nice. Take a look at that reaction from Izzy. Just like, I think I hear something. I'm not 100% sure. Checks, looks around, pops the corner. Just fast enough.
I think Toast might have heard a little bit of Nintendo's jostling there on the stairs because he comes almost exposed. If Nintendo might have waited, could have possibly gotten the angle on him. He is moving quite stealthily.
Now Izzy under fire from Brastamouth as he goes to check that South Street cross. They missed the man getting in. Nintendo will be the one actually to knock Izzy out of this match and even things out for Globochem. And
wow, and a second one when he grabs Toast hanging out in the open. Nintendo, this is honestly, I think the G-Men are a good fit for Nintendo. His playstyle definitely fits into the G-Men's playstyle a bit more so than it did the Danglers. Not that, you know, the Danglers weren't a good team for him in a sense of, you know, camaraderie and teamwork and whatnot, but I think the play style of G-Men best fits Nintendo versus some of the stuff that we used to do on Danglers.
Yeah, definitely. Thunder Pilot picking up Zach Fontaine on that south cross, but Brastamouth already inside looking for that early cap. Gonna get shut down by Mike Crook.
The man coming around the backside. He almost finds the backside of Thunder Pilot, but gets shut down as Mike Crook rotates cleverly at the last moment. Now Nintendo just across from the objective. He's going to toss smokes of his own. They're going to see it. Auto's rushing around the corner. Nintendo's not ready, and Auto going to clean things up to take map 1 away from the G-Men and Globochem. Win 4-1.
Yeah, great map there for Globochem, and going back to what I'd mentioned early on before we started this cast, Globochem just has that consistency down. They feel comfortable in their skin on this map, and you really got to bring your A game and something fresh and interesting if you want to try to trip them up. So fantastic series there from Globochem, but a really nice set of plays from G-Men. I think they had the right idea in a lot of cases. It just felt like in those last couple of offensive series, they were kind of single filing in, right? We saw that happen. I mean, just on that last objective, right? We saw one Brastamouth rush in with the tablet looking for the cap, doesn't get it. Then it shifted to the man who pushed in with the shield, looking for the backside of Thunder Pilot, gets refragged. And then Nintendo, of course, still across the street, still throwing utility, giving enough information to the defense. Auto able to clean that up as well. And so there wasn't enough coordination. They didn't strike at the same time. Globochem had an easier time cleaning that up. And that's going to give them the first map. Yeah, first map done and out of the way. The second map now is going to be Tanker. Initial thoughts on this matchup on Tanker, Mr. Sleepy?
Nothing is coming to mind off the top of my head, so why don't I look at some of the handy-dandy stats that we have available to us over at Onward, VRMasterLeague.com. Well, VRMasterLeague.com/Onward. And taking a look at Tanker, it appears that Globochem is quite commandingly the winners of this between the two since Season 5. With 3 total matches played, Globochem has won all three of them. So, G-Men were able to take a few rounds, taking the round win percentage to 81%, but still, that's quite high. So I don't think G-Men are going to be, well, I don't know. We'll see. I think Globochem are going to have to figure out some new stuff against G-Men, but ultimately the stats say this should be a Globochem map.
It is their map choice as well, so of course they've got to feel strong on it. We've seen Globochem really lean into Tanker lately as a map, a regular map choice for them. And I think it had gone out of favor for a little bit. They didn't have consistent shield play for a season or two. And now that they picked up Mike Crook, who can run that shield pretty dang well, we've seen it in the rotation pretty regularly. And we'll see exactly what happens here, because round 1 of map 2 is kicking off here in just a few seconds. G-Men. Oh, actually, I'm sorry. That is Globochem on. Excuse our titles there. This is Globochem on the defense and G-Men on the offense. We'll get that fixed up. That is an aggressive defense. Mike Crook and Toast pushing through down below in a very aggressive way. Zach Fontaine and the man here bringing their shield down, but Mike Crook and Toast already passed them almost in that G-Men spawn. It's going to be up to Thunder Pilot here. To deal with them as they come up the backside. But yeah, very interesting defense. I've never seen Globochem get this aggressive on their defensive push. Mike Crook already on the back line.
If he doesn't speed up, this could go poorly for Globochem. I mean, all the man has to do is get the pick onto Thunder Pilot, and then it's a sprint for 2 towards the objective. Yes, Otto might be able to turn and burn 1, but the chances of him getting 2 are a lot slimmer. So, I mean, it could backfire on them. This could end up a G-Men cap if they're not careful.
Yeah, if the other side pushes in at the same time, if Tendo, Brass to Mouth, and 404 all push in tandem, along with the man and Zach Fontaine, should make it too difficult for Otto and Izzy to pop out and grab a pick here. But we'll see what happens as the man takes a shot on Otto. Doesn't seem to phase Otto. They haven't even looked.
That's impressive. No call-outs and nothing. Mike Crook gonna find Nintendo and Brass the Mouth with 404 returning the favor. This is kind of the opportunity for Zach and the man to have struck, but they're still sitting poised here, ready to strike. Their only other... Here comes Thunder Pilot.
Oh, the man not fast enough. He just wasn't fast enough, and now it's 404 and the man, the only 2 left. Is he looking for a member of the offense? The man gonna disengage, probably the right call here as he pushes off the corner. 404 gonna be looking for Otto as he rotates through. Otto spots him first. That's just gonna leave the man alive.
Yeah, not looking so great now, but that play had potential, that is for sure. A little bit of a hesitation on execution, I think, ultimately led to its downfall, but otherwise, with how aggressive Globochem got there, I don't know. I don't think
is he going to be ready for this defensive spot? He was not. Toast able to deal effectively with the shield before the man able to get the pistol up, and Globochem will continue their march here. Is that, how many, has that gone unanswered? No, I'm sorry. That is 4 points unanswered. Quick math in the old noggin there. Globochem now on a 4-point march, starting with, of course, that 3rd round in map 1.
Yeah, D-Man are going to have to pull themselves together here and kind of focus up, because Globochem is they like to do this. They start gaining that momentum, and it's hard to put the brakes on them. So G-Men need to do that sooner than later in order to kind of stop that bleeding, or else it's going to turn into a big gaping wound, and the blood is just going to start coming out real fast.
Oh, it is great. Hopefully we mark this channel for mature audiences. That was a graphic description of the potential of this round, but you're not wrong. And that
Viewers got to know what they're dealing with, you know?
Once a team, you know, starts rolling down a hill like this, it can be very difficult to unseat them. See if G-Men have what it takes. As round 2 kicks off. All quiet on the G-Men. So honestly, both sides relatively quiet in their spawns.
I think these teams are good enough to use the minute and a half that they've got in the tent to establish. You know, these guys aren't coming here without tactics and thoughts already, so it doesn't take them that long to put onto the board what they need to say in that minute and a half, I think. Crook and Izzy working their way all the way through downstairs. It's just, they're like clearing it just to make sure there's nothing ahead for the rest of it. They're like mine-sweeping dogs right now. I love it. Yeah,
definitely a new approach to their tanker plays. I'm hard pressed to think of any time that they were quite as aggressive in those tunnels as they have been so far. But it has worked out as they were able to cinch up that first round on a nice little flank from Mike Crook. He picked up 2 on the backside before they got wise. 404 and Toast are just a hair's breadth away. They're literally a blue container away from seeing each other. I'm wondering who's going to get antsy first. It's looking like 404 is going to be the one to run out of patience. There he is, peeking the corner. He does spot Toast. The headshot coming in, knocking him right on out of there, and it's a 5v4. G-Men with the advantage. Auto able to knock 404 out, evening things up a little bit. And a fantastic C4 will be the one that finds Mike Crook and Izzy, but the res does come out.
We'll help their case just a bit because now those 2 players will be essentially one shot. Otto's making some moves here on the top deck, though. If nobody's paying attention, this could be a cap from him, and here he comes. He's pushing towards it. Nintendo peeking the crack. When Otto should see it, Nintendo's able to pull away in time. The frag flash comes out. It does. It's not going to grab Otto, though. This could be a cap. 2 G-Men still alive, and Otto's on the objective. Tablet is out. Coat is going in, and this could be a cap for Globochem. A rare sight to see in comp play, especially in a match. But the G-Men have no idea. There's no rotation, and Otto's the only man alive. No one's checking the objective. Otto's still going at it with the code, but finally he gets it, putting Globochem up 3-0 here on the second map. And they are not stopping the bleeding. They just helped rip open their own wound.
Yeah, that objective is so susceptible to that type of play, to the distractionary play, where everybody put, the Kansas City shuffle, everybody looks left, you go right. And Otto did exactly that. All of the concentrated aggression was happening in the back line in the G-Men spawn. And not quite paying enough attention to the thing that actually matters there, which is, of course, the objective itself. And Otto able to just kind of coast into that cap. We won't even get a chance to head back to the scoreboard, ladies and gentlemen, because the teams are ready to go. They're ready and rare, and round 3 is underway. Now G-Men on the offensive.
Yeah, with how fast that round started, it makes you wonder, did G-Men just give up on this map? Are they just kind of calling it in here for the final round? Do they have no attack plans? Was it not worth talking about? Or did they just have time enough to plan it out? Or they know exactly what they want to do on this objective no matter who they're playing against? It's hard to tell, but they don't seem in low spirits, so I don't think they've necessarily given up. But, it makes you wonder when rounds start with a minute and a half between them, and then all of a sudden it's about a second and a half. Brass the Mouth gonna find Thunder Pilot though on the north side of the ship. Some C4 and a grenade will help put that off. That'll help open up the defense, but Globochem mostly unfazed, not a lot of rotations. Mike Crook throwing a checkmate over the container. Brass the Mouth will manage to escape and see Mike Crook. They'll watch the window. No No evidence. 404 find Auto underneath. Now Brass the Mouth is just ring around the Rosie towards the cap, but it's shut down by Izzy last second.
Smokes now coming in again. 404 on the inside. Izzy was able to clean that up. Nintendo now has Pat out as well. Izzy spots the man of the shield. The rotation, he's got the heads up onto Nintendo, who was punching in the code at the time. Izzy just on an absolute tear, picking up the man as well and the shield, but Zach Fontaine would have shut that down. Now it's just Toast and Zach Fontaine left. Zach Fontaine's got Pat out.
What?
Toast isn't looking for the objective. And there it is. G-Man able to knock that cap in and stay alive here in map 2.
That was blazingly fast. Zach Fontaine, that was so impressive there. And getting it in while under pressure, you had the defender pressing you. He was a little lost, mind you, but goodness gracious, an impressive comeback, and that's how you stop the bleeding. Let's see what G-Men have to say on their defensive round now.
Yeah, it was just that split second, right? Toast was thinking, oh, he's got to be coming this way. The shots were all ringing out from their spawn side. I'm just going to go check it, and he just got a little too focused, and we saw that happen a couple of times that round. Mike Crook got a little tunnel vision chasing Brass to Mouth in a like a little ring around the Rosie in that South Watch area, and it seems like they were just getting a little too focused on the players, but Izzy there, I mean, just did a fantastic job of cleaning up those cap attempts. It was very close. Very, very close. He was able to pick up the man and the shield, get the kill, pick up the shield, and train his gun in just a couple of seconds. Obviously, Zach Fontaine able to shut that down in the end, but still a fantastic play by Izzy. Not quite enough, as Zach Fontaine able to get that cap in. Maybe that's why they weren't worried, Sleepy. They're like, we got this, Cap.
Apparently.
Not concerned in the slightest.
They were able to send, I'm pretty sure, literally every person on the team at the objective, though. So it was a fairly effective attack plan, to be honest.
Yeah,
their only problem was nobody was like thinking to clear the objective first. They all just ran in and whipped the pads out. And unfortunately, Izzy was so ready to just run into that smoke and check every nook and cranny.
Now it is Globochem's chance to attack the same top side objective. Izzy and Mike Crook going to be doing their standard push down through the bottom here. And the Free Fire is just coming out in force on all sides. Izzy and Mike Crook already on the back side. Are they going to go all the way? They are going to go all the way to the back and rotate through the basement. Right now, Globochem just trying to distract, send bullets down, keep the defense guessing. Toast is already on the inside of the objective here.
Brass has definitely spotted him through the window, though. Oh, Toast finds one. Will he be able to find Brass? He does with the trade. Mike Crook also able to find down by the man. The man also taking down Izzy in the back.
He does manage to clean up the flank, and G-Men now with the advantage. 3v2, just the brothers left, Auto and Thunder Pilot. Last two remaining, and just like that, only Auto remains as 404. Manages to get that pick. A nice frag toss there. Not quite enough. Could have been fantastic for the revenge of the brother.
Wow.
But Zach Fontaine gonna seal the deal as Auto rotates in the back of the spawn. An easy pick for Zach here to tie things up in map 2. And just like that, this series has been turned upside down by two fantastic rounds from G-Men.
Yeah, but the only problem is now G-Men have put themselves into a box. They've got to come out on top in this next Marsoc round, or else the series is clenched for Globochem. This is not a position that you really want to be in when you're vying to go to that third map decider. You at least need that giveaway round, right? Like, you don't want to risk all or nothing to get to map 3.
Yeah, definitely not. They're gonna have a rough go of it, no matter how this round plays out. They've still got map 3 to worry about. It will be a series decider if G-Men can lock it in here, but yeah, they got to focus on one round at a time.
Understatement. Understatement of the year. A superstructure objective, though, not the worst one to get. I think I would be more concerned if this objective was the cargo hold. It's much easier, in my opinion, to lock down that objective than it is to to go for this cargo hold objective. At least then you can kind of attack it from so many different angles that, you know, luck willing, you come out on top.
Well, we don't have to wait much longer. Round 5 is here. I know you're saying round 5, but it's 3-3. 2 caps have come out on this map already.
2 caps, 1 maps.
So graphic today, Sleepy, as the chat has already mentioned. You're just a graphical boy today.
Painting a picture for your minds by using my voice. That's what I meant to do. But to be fair, that maybe was a bit gory. Anyways, yeah, so G-Men taking a push, staying mostly on deck with the exception of Nintendo and 404, the remaining 3. Zach Fontaine, Brastamouth, and the man pushing up the north side with Brass quickly branching off here to take a peek through some of those exposed windows. Now, for those of you who might be watching who don't play Onward, those windows, as you see, they are bulletproof, unfortunately, for the Marsoc team, so the enemy team can see out and identify, and vice versa, but unfortunately, neither one can actually get the kill through those windows. So, see them as they might, they can't do anything about it except give the intel to their team. But I don't think anyone's really been spotted out yet. Maybe the man's been called out at this point, but seems unlikely.
I don't think Otto quite has that view just yet. He's going to need to rotate around a little to the right if he wants that. Brass just sending a few bullets towards Izzy's face. That is one member of the defense ID'd by the offense.
I wonder if he was trying to make them think it was like a shield and that they'd pop out and try and fire on it. And he just whip out the rifle and blast their faces.
It's entirely possible, but they're going to be funneling into Toast's line of sight here if they're not careful. Oh, the grenade coming in towards Toast. Just a little too long. Oh, that would have been a fantastic cook if that had airbursted over the top of Toast. Would have been a potential dangerous situation for Globochem to try to res him, so good thing that that grenade did not go off. And we're still in a 5v5 here. 2 minutes burned.
Toast position should be called out now. There's 404 is trying with all his might to get some sort of angle onto Toast, but it is just not happening. I don't know what the utility count is like over here, if there's even a frag between 404 and Brastamouth, but if there is, one right over the top of that green container might do it, but Brastamouth is going to find the connection he's looking for and down Toast, but that's not it. That's going to be it, though. Ooh, and Izzy almost catches Brastamouth slipping as he's standing out in the open. Ooh, making a rough decision to rotate back across the door there.
404 and Nintendo now rejoining their group at the top. I just heard the call out there from Nintendo that the bottom is clear. They just went to go check it. They're not necessarily going to try and push up that backside, which kind of makes sense. Those stairs can be a death trap. The flash coming out over the top, not going to find any love there. Here come the smokes. Usually when you see this, this is when the Marsoc push is coming in. Will Globochem be ready? They are a man down.
Looks like the man's going to be taking the north side with his shield on point. Otto's going to have spotted out. Looks like the callouts coming in. Izzy's going to find Brastamouth with Nintendo on a refrag across the map. Now the man and Otto dancing around the windows. The man waiting for Zach Fontaine to back him up. Here comes Zach. He's going to find Thunder and Otto. The brothers go down quickly. The man breaks off and goes for it. Now Zach Fontaine is behind the door getting ready for the cap. Here comes Mike Crook now around the corner. He stops the cap. But the man's now inside, and he could be going for it. No, instead, he's going to go for the kill. Mike Crook going to shut the man down again, and he's got the shield now. It's a 1v1. Nintendo's got the backside. He finds the kill, and G-Men come back from a 3-0 deficit to take the map. And we're going to a map 3 decider here in the Onward VR Master League.
What a fantastic play that was. Just take a look at Zach Fontaine's push here. The man keeping Otto occupied. They're rotating through. They weren't expecting somebody with a gun to pop through, and there it is. Thunder Pilot and Otto going down in one fell swoop, starting off that fantastic offensive push for G-Men that gets them the round. And now it is time, ladies and gentlemen, for map number 3, and you saw it there on your screen. It is going to be cargo.
Interesting. Interesting.
Oop, my apologies. That score is incorrect. Ha ha ha.
Interesting. G-Men going to be picking into their strength for one of the first times here in this series with this pick into cargo, at least according to the stats on the website. Someone says the stats are broken on the website, but I don't know. I mean, stats are stats if they're being reported from the game. I don't understand how they're broken.
Yeah, more details on that would be interesting, but I will believe them until I get some information about how they are inaccurate. But yes, indeed, we're going to cargo, a nice small map here. We're sort of going through the gamut of the smaller maps in the league. Bazaar, of course, a bit on the larger side, but Tanker and Cargo, definitely two of the smallest maps in the league right now. And definitely a G-Men favorite. I mean, this is exactly the pick I would have expected out of G-Men. This is where their shield machine gun combo with the man and Zach Fontaine has really just kind of become a staple. And I think they've really dialed it in. And I'm excited to see how the addition of a player like Nintendo is going to shake that up. He's such a strong player in that I found that when we used to cast, the Danglers matches more regularly in Season 8 and Season 9, he was very often the last one alive on that team.
That is a very astute assumption, and yes, he is often the last one alive. Because he was never really the most wild of the players on the Danglers, right? Like, he was never against the gung-ho run in and go all out for the cap play style that was Danglers' kind of no strat, best strat policy, but he's a lot more methodical in the way he plays, and that's part of the reason why I said I think G-Men is actually play style to player a better fit for him than Danglers were.
Apologies.
But we all had great fun on the Danglers as well. But either way, it's enough talk about that. We're here to see how well he does on the side of G-Men. They'll be attacking first, as it is their map choice, but here it goes, folks. Let's see the hype in the chat. Map 3 between Globochem and G-Men starting right now. Early pre-fire going to be ringing in from Otto as he tries to stop the flank west. Sorry, flank east.
See Zach Fontaine and the man there. The grenade coming at them forces them to back off. A nice little toss there. Izzy going to be the first one to find a pick with 404 going down early. Pre-fire coming down through smokes. Toast on a nice angle there is going to grab Nintendo and Brass in the middle.
Nice play there, Toast.
Just like that, there's only 2 members remaining. That dream team we were talking about, the man and Zach Fontaine, the last 2 for G-Men. Only 30 seconds left. Toast rushes the corner, but not lucky enough.
Yeah, and this is a scenario where it's not advisable to actually chase down these last couple of remaining members. While it's everything in your instinct to want to just kind of enclose them and encircle them, which is fine, that you can do, cutting off their portions of the map that they can use slowly is fine, but you don't want to go actively, aggressively hunting the teams like that when they're down to 1 or maybe 2 players, because all you're doing is essentially running right into them. You're normally not being concerned about your noise levels, you're not concerned about where the enemy is in relation to you, and you're often not expecting where they might be because you're just running around blindly, and that's kind of what we saw there with Toast. He was slightly aware of the position of the enemy team, but he came around that corner and there was Zach Fontaine who was able to take him down.
He made the right read, Toast, in pushing through and nabbing those first 2 picks, but yes, I do agree that a touch over-aggressive. It's quitting when you're ahead, or something of that nature. But we have seen, we've seen guys get successful on that. We have seen our 4 or 5 man picks, so you can't fault the man for try and hit. I know I would keep running if I was Toast, so no love lost there for me for sure.
Yeah. Well, player me and analyst me are 2 different people entirely.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I am way smarter on the desk than I am on the field. Globochem looking real good here. 4 members left. Zach Fontaine and the man. The last 2 remaining, and Otto here is in a perfect position to snag these 2 as they come out and communicate that information to Izzy, who's also going to be ready for Zach Fontaine. Make that peek, and
from the smokes now from the man, probably just gonna end up being a distraction. Nope. Frag, and it sets off the C4, but no good on effect. Now the only bit of explosive equipment that the man has is utilized. He's throwing a smoke cause distraction, but it's not going to be enough. Globochem still with 4 up. This isn't going to go very well And there it is, Auto finding the pick onto the man at the last second there to grab the win for Globochem, and they take the 1-0 lead here on the map.
They do indeed. And the man pretty much out of options there at the 3-minute mark. Pushes through, tries to rotate, but there's just too many. And Globochem will take that point in map 3, which is still the series decider. I mean, we are not by any means out of the woods just yet. There's quite a bit of game to go. We saw that fantastic 0-3 comeback from G-Men with the cap response. Grabbing Tanker out from underneath. The map pick for Globochem. So far, they have not been able to win. You know, each team hasn't been able to win on their own map picks. A rare sight to see. In most cases, as folks will generally ban towards their own weaknesses or the enemy team's strengths. But you would expect teams to be winning their map choices, not vice versa. We'll see what happens, though, because now round 2 is getting underway.
And the excitement is still alive, as this is the decider in the entire series. But who's going to take it? What's it going to be?
Free fire pouring in on all sides, as we would normally expect. Toast, Mike, Crook, and Izzy already in through on the inside. And this is a quick push. Zach Fontaine gets caught while pre-firing. Brast him out the Nintendo. Now have to rotate through. Mike looking for the pick on that. Not going to find it. Izzy, however, will. Man, Thunder Pilot will trade. 404 finds Auto and Mike Crook, but Izzy and Toast seal the deal on the final 2 picks. And we couldn't even cover all of the action that just happened on screen because it happened way too fast. Blazing play by Globochem there.
I didn't even get a chance to look up at the timer before it reset to 0 to see how quickly that all went down. But yeah, I mean, Globochem went through that 3-man push down the west side, just completely collapsed on the objective. The one person actually standing right on the objective, I forget who that was. You said
Zach
it was
Fontaine.
pre-firing. Zach Fontaine with that pre-fire, and they just walked right over top. And then from there, they honestly had control of the objective. They could have went for the cap, but they did play it safe. They wanted to ensure nobody was rushing in. And in that, a lot of calamity ensued, and things just went all to heck. But Globochem, with 2 remaining members, 3 remaining members on the board, take the round win.
Imagine still being in pre-fire mode and like a full Globochem squad rounds the corner. Guns you down. Zach Fontaine's got that feeling right now. You know, pre-fire is usually relegated to the first, 10, 15 seconds of a map, and you feel kind of safe doing it because you're, there's no way no one's gonna push through here and make it close to me. And Zach just found out that's not always the case as Globochem marches in for that second round, and now round 2 kicks off the same way with lots of pre-fire coming in. Now G-Men with a bit of aggression. Toast the only one getting overtly aggressive, and he's going to be looking for Nintendo. A nice peek there. We'll nab him that, and Thunder Pilot grabs 404 all the way back in spawn, and now it is just a 3v5.
Wow, Globochem has definitely turned up their cargo game against G-Men. This is definitely not what I expected to see. I expected to see these rounds going a bit more, at least a little closer. Things are getting very hairy here very quickly in these rounds.
Looks like Thunder may have spotted Brass on this rotation over to 404's body. Wasn't able to get the shots at Smoke, just blinding enough. Now the man and Zach on their pretty classic tunnel push here. The frag comes out a little too not inside the building where Izzy's dancing. Just keeping that blood flowing, you know? You got to keep that blood pulsing through your veins. What better way to do it than just to dance it out a little bit?
Absolutely. It looks maybe Toast saw across from Brass, but he's going to hear Zach Fontaine and the man push up, and he'll rotate out to get a trade. Zach Fontaine now a 2v4 for G-Men.
They've got the one pick. They got Toast in the back line, but again, that's kind of the sacrifice that Globochem has been making. They've been sending 1, maybe 2 early on, trying to get those picks. Oh, and what a grenade toss that is. Brass to mouth. Luckily not in range.
Not even flinching.
Yeah, I would have panicked, thrown everything in the air, and run out that room. Probably gotten myself killed had I heard that grenade land next to me, but he's got ice in his veins. Brass unfazed by Globochem's tactics.
Thunderpilot called out Brass command just a few moments ago as the man pushed out towards the yellow building, and now the man used that to rotate off. Thunderpilot gonna find Brass on the outside as he rotates around, and here comes the frag. It's got good distance. Oh, it's a flash instead, and the man is absolutely stunned. He's just gonna back up. It's his only safe route here. The shots come out. Now Izzy's putting the pressure on. It's a two-person approach, and Mike Crook once again will take down the man. It's like the shield players are attracted to each other at this point. Globochem goes up 3-0 on the map.
It's like they know the approach, right? Because they've played. If you got two players on two different sides of the field who have both played shield, they kind of know the strengths and weaknesses of a shield in a particular position. You saw the way that Mike and Izzy were dealing with the man was just applying a little bit of pressure, throwing that flash, and then just trying to find two separate angles to attack the shield from, and that's in the end what led to the demise of the man. And now here we are again, Globochem poised to take map 3 and the series. Can G-Men mount 2 0-3 comebacks in one match to try to come back against Globo, or will Globochem, with this amended playstyle, be able to sweep G-Men off their feet, take the third map, and take the series on top of that?
Yeah. I mean, it was rough in the last map to have to do it, but I mean, this basically determines the series, and so you really hope the G-Men aren't deflated. Now, obviously, we see that there's not an immediate round start, so they haven't just completely deflated and gone to hell and said, F it, we give up. So I'm expecting to see G-Men still fighting it out, trying to hold themselves alive here, but it is their last opportunity as we roll into round number 4. Globochem looking for their 4th point and taking it 4 for 4 in map number 3, but they've got 6 minutes and a G-Men defense to deal with before that happens. Let's see what happens as they roll out of the spawn box in the next couple of seconds.
Yeah. It's all good.
There we go, Globochem making the push, the pre-fire out in force. As always, the aggression is coming out. Toast looking for the man. Did he spot him on this little peek here? Brass is chucking a C4 out, is able to find Mike on a long push, but Toast snags the man as he pushes through, and now he's on the inside of the objective. Is Nintendo ready? Did he spot him out? I don't think he saw him.
I don't think he did either. I think he made it around, and there's the pick onto Zach Fontaine. 404 will return the favor, and that'll stop the Toast reign of terror.
He was in there like swimwear for just a moment. And 404 on that nice rotation to get the refrag. But G-Men are definitely with their backs against the wall now, as they've got 2 to Globochem's 4 to deal with. Mike Crook and Izzy, the shield still alive. Oop. There we go. The kill count is not accurate. That's the main thing, is that Toast was not able to call out that last pick he made. He may have called out the man's kill, but I don't think he actually was able to get any other call outs in, unless there was a radio click that we weren't able to spot out.
Let me go first.
404 looking to pressure the smoke here at the objective. He sees Auto through the crack, but he's unable to make the connection.
Now the pressure is going to come in on this west side. Mike Crook pushing with the shield. Izzy on the support. The frag coming into the backside of Mike Crook, and it is good. It is a down and out. 404 confirms Thunderpilot as well. And just like that, it's a 2v2. G-Men still in it. Izzy picks up the shield, rotating through. 404 on the call out. Here's it. Izzy, though, much faster on the draw, able to down 404 and make it a 1v2. As Nintendo now has to rotate through and look for anybody trying to cap, but it's not going to matter because Izzy, celebrating appropriately, it finds that last kill and gives Globochem the 4-0 sweep here on Cargo. I am flabbergasted, Sleepy.
Yeah, I really didn't expect Cargo to go that far towards Globochem. I mean, I expected a good fight. I even expected maybe G-Men to kind of swing back after a few rounds there and come back and put some points on the board, if not come back and win the map as they're, statistically supposed to be. But yeah, Globochem really just brought their A game. They had something different for G-Men, and I think it really showed. I'm not quite sure G-Men were prepared for the aggressive pushes from Toast here on Cargo. They had some aggression of their own, but it just seemed like Toast was getting the edge every time. And that's a difficult task, man. He's a good point person, and that's why he runs their point game often when he's on their roster. So, otherwise, an excellent game. Happy to have casted it. I don't know about you, but, congratulations to Globochem, commiserations to G-Men, but really, congratulations to the viewers, because that was a hell of a game.
That was indeed, and we kept it relatively short at just an hour and 15. It looks like the game on Master League 2 between Animal House and Mayhem is still going on, so we'll make sure to host that once this broadcast is over, or you can go tune in there on your own and say hello to Todd and Vivian doing their doubleheader for the day. But that is going to do it here for us on the Master League 1 channel. If you're interested in joining the league or learning more about it, do head over to vrmasterleague.com. Check out our suite of games that we run leagues for. Lots of really awesome people in the communities here. You can join a multitude of different Discords and get cracking on some of these sweet VR titles. Do want to thank all of our sponsors: VR Cover, Cyber Shoes, Fixed Gaming, ProTube VR, B Haptics, and Rebuff Reality. Thank you to all of those sponsors for everything they do for the VR community, as well as the VRML and the games that we support. Thank you again to all the viewers for showing up. We do appreciate you guys spending your Sunday with us after the 4th. I know we're all a little woozy and sleep deprived, so we do appreciate you tuning in the evening. If you're interested in some merch, also check out our Arma merch store as well on that VR Master League page. You can find the links in there and during the replay scenes in the cast as well. But that is going to do it from the desk here today. My name is Noman with a 4. I have been joined by Sleepy with 2 3s. We will see you guys next week for week 2 of season 10. Have a great night, everybody.
Good night, everyone.